amazing people like you who are doing great things in the world that I think you should know about. Well, today is the second Friday of the month, which means it's time for the Plant-Based Kitchenista, Chef Kelley Williamson. Before I introduce her, she's going to be doing Mother's Day brunch. Whoever gave me this shirt, thank you. I get so many wonderful gifts, but a lot of times the books, they come with no note and no return address. So if you gave this to me, thank you. It's adorable. Hey, Kelley, how are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm okay. So you're going to celebrate Mother's Day with that nice neighbor lady of yours?
We probably will. She'll probably end up going to her friends, and her family and stuff. But anyway and stuff, no matter what, I cook for her on Sundays and stuff. So she's going to be getting a lot of really good things. Yeah.
Okay. So Mother's Day is a very popular day for people to go to restaurants. And I'm told by a couple of friends that own restaurants that it's literally the busiest day of the year. So why subject your mother to that on Mother's Day?
I would agree. I think that, with all that, you just like the weights and everything else that happens, because, no matter what they say, you can get in at, 6 p.m. or something, you never do. So why not just do some fun things at home and, either cook for your mom or cook with your mom? Because a lot of times moms love to do that, because you always see the moms and the kids. Why not plan something different? It's supposed to be a nice day in most places. So
Yeah, that's so cool. People make a bigger deal about Mother's Day, I think, than Father's Day. Father's Day is more of a grill day, isn't it?
it is. It's the dads still have to work, no matter if it's a Father's Day or not. Get out there and cook. Yep, that's true.
Absolutely. Well, brunch is a fun meal anyway.
I agree. Fully agree.
Yeah. So what are you going to make for us today?
So a couple things. So we're going to do carrot cake scones, which I'm going to get started here in just about a minute. We're going to do a spicy fruit bowl, which we'll talk a little bit about. But beautiful fruits, because it's all about seeing things with your eyes, like eye candy. And spicy doesn't necessarily mean it's spicy, but it just adds a really good flavor to all the fruit. And then we're going to do some plant-based oat waffles. So I have a waffle maker that's right here. And then we've got basically a sweet cream to go with it. So a little bit different. You could put maple syrup, but we're going to use a sweet cream, and then we're going to add all kinds of fruit and make it really pretty. So pretty presentation.
Nice. Well, I
Yeah.
find I love a good lesson in waffle making because I find that sometimes they come out great and then sometimes not at all.
That's true. Truthfully, and so knock on wood somewhere that everything turns out and stuff. But this waffle maker's been really good, and I'll show when we get to it, because I'm just letting it heat up right now. When we get to it, I'll show the brand that I bought. So brought it on Amazon, and it seems to, knock on wood, so far be good for everything. So yeah,
Nice.
yeah. All
All
right, so we ready to go?
ready to rock and roll all
All
night.
right, so we're gonna get the carrot cake scones, because that's the one thing that needs to go in the oven. So set your oven to 350, and then just do a baking sheet with either parchment paper or silk hat, whatever you decide and whatever you've got at home. That's just get those ready. So let's go ahead and start grabbing some of the ingredients. So we're gonna do the dry ingredients. So 2 cups gluten-free flour. I just use the gluten-free, but you don't have to. You can do any of your other flours that you have, but it's just one that I've always made it with, and it always turns out. So like one of those things that sometimes you don't want to mess with. So 2 cups going in. Then we've got the baking powder. So we've got 1 tablespoon of baking powder. Then we've got, I thought we had oh wait, I just messed something up. Hold on. I had one
Uh-oh.
recipe started and another recipe over with the ingredients. I'll leave that there.
You know what the worst thing is?
So
This has happened to me during live demos. And you get everything in the pan and then you forgot an ingredient and you got to like take it out of the brownie pan and mix it up again. It's the worst.
I was like, yeah, and I was like, oh, that's my waffle mix. So I'm just gonna put that to the side. So pretty similarity, which is good. Okay, here we go. 2 cups gluten-free flour, using that. Then I've got the baking powder, so 1 tablespoon. Then I've been like, why isn't the scone so big? So that wouldn't be good. 1/2 cup chopped dates. So what I did is sometimes the dates and stuff are not as soft as I want. So I just soaked them for a little bit and then just chopped them up so they're ready to go. But if your dates are really soft, let's just say you just bought them and they're really soft, then what I would say is just put them right, chop them up and put them in there. I like to soak them though a little bit. So that's going in there. And so we're going to whisk this together. Grab your handy spoon. And your dates, you can make them as big of chunks as you want or little. It's just one of those things that just goes in there and then it just kind of almost melts into the scones, which is really good. But it also gives you your sweetness. Quick
What is
mix.
what is a scone actually?
It's basically, usually you'll see it, and it's always like they always put it in a triangle. Has many different flavors, so you can do something from like a vanilla to, I've seen like this one here that we're doing here is more carrot cake. I've seen chocolate, and it's a very much of like almost like a kind of a difference between like I'd say heartier than a biscuit, but still soft. So, and they're just, a lot of people and stuff will use them with fruit, or they'll open up the scones and put like different flavorings in them. Mascarpone, all those kind of different things. They're just, a lot of people I think are scared of scones and making scones because they look like they're so fussy, but they're really not. So you can see in stuff that right now I'm already halfway through the recipe. So, but very much a cakey, a little more cakey than a biscuit.
Aren't they often served with lemon curd?
They are sometimes. I would say a lot of people do like chocolate fillings. They do lemon curd, all kinds of different things in them. And then sometimes they're just very plain. And it's almost like, people that really like croissants really like scones just because it's, it's simple, but it's good and it's filling. So, but they're easy. They're really easy to make. Okay, so we got everything in here. So I've got a little bit of the ginger. So you get a little bit of the ginger flavoring. So I'm going to add that in. Just do a quick stir. And then what you're going to do in the middle of your bowl, you're going to make, they just get it all over me. You're going to make a well. So like when you're making pasta and you see the chefs on TV and stuff and they're making it and they're putting like the eggs and things like that in the well, same thing. You're going to create a little bit of a well and you're going to put all of your wet ingredients in there. Okay. So there's a little bit of extra flour. That's that. And all my ingredients. Okay. So then you're going to start adding you've got 3/4 of a cup of soy milk, or almond milk, hemp milk, whatever you want. Non-dairy. That just goes in the middle. It's just right in the middle of the bowl. You've got flour, everything around it. Then you've got, so just following the recipe, you've got basically 1.5 cups of unsweetened applesauce. Right. And then you've got coconut flakes. So you could do the desiccated coconut flakes. You can do the really large coconut flakes, whatever you have. It's completely up to you. And if you don't like coconut, leave it out. Don't have to do that. But it's nice, if you're doing a carrot cake usually has, you'll see like coconut, and like the real carrot cake that we've seen at some of the places we go has like all the butter and, cream cheese and all this kind of stuff. But we're not doing that today. All right, cook your place. Then you've got walnuts that are toasted. So you've got 1/4 cup of those. Put that there. And then that's why you have carrot cake. We've got 1/4 cup of shredded carrots. Those are fresh. And then we've got vanilla, so a teaspoon of vanilla. And then if you want to, you can do like the zest of an orange. So maybe just grab my orange and we're just going to do a little zest just to give it a little bit more flavor.
Sometimes I've found that carrot cake has pineapple sometime. Have you found that to be true?
Sometimes it does, and then sometimes it doesn't. It really just depends on who makes it. I would say that most of the time I prefer it if they do put pineapple in it, just to make sure that it's not too much, because I think otherwise it overpowers the carrot cake.
Yeah.
But, really good walnuts and all kinds of things like that in it. So then just mix it together. If you find, because if it's too sticky, so depending on your flour that you're using, because you want to make sure that you can grab it out of the bowl. So if it's too sticky, then just add a little bit more flour. And then you're going to put it onto a floured piece of parchment paper. A little sticky. So just add a little bit, just kind of test it a little bit. You're going to want it where, it's like when you're making like pie dough, you want to make it towards that consistency. So just add a little bit more flour. It's not going to hurt the recipe at all if it's too sticky. I'll go ahead and flour my parchment paper in front of you. And another thing you could do is you could cut back on the applesauce too, if it's just a little too sticky. So I probably added about another 1/2 cup just to get it where it's not so sticky. Otherwise, you end up all on your hands.
I find that scones are much heartier than, say, croissant.
Oh, very much so. Yes, very much so. They are, like I said, they're kind of like I would say heartier than a biscuit. And almost that kind of consistency. So they can be crumbly and then they can also hold together. So depending on what the flavors that you put in it. Okay, so I got my flour. It is a sticky mess when you do it. You're going to want to get it into more like more of a round disc. That's what you're going to put it into, kind of pat it into. And the reason why you want a round disc is then that way you can cut your 8 triangles. You could actually take this. That's the fun thing of scones. You could take this and you could just put it right onto the sill pad or right onto the baking sheet if you wanted to. So you're not really messing with it. Or you can actually, if you want to, you can peel it off and then put it right onto the sill pad. So let me just wash my hands real quick because I want to get this in the oven and then we'll start the waffles. It is messy. All right. So decided to use the sill pad this time just for the heck of it. I usually do the parchment paper just because I always have it handy. But I think actually, let me see how you do. I'll just transfer it that way. Any extra flour, you can just brush it off to the side. Form your disc.
Kelley, did you know that they have scone molds and scone pans?
I have never used a scone mold or a scone pad. I've never done that.
They do exist.
Never had a need to because it's so easy to do that I think that it's kind of like, if you like gadgets, I'd say go for it. If you just kind of want to just do it and not have to worry about all the different parts and pieces, just do it like this. Just roll it into a mold like that. And then just grab your favorite knife. Cut it diagonally. And if it doesn't go all the way through, that's okay. Cut it across again. And then you're going to cut it into the triangles. Like that. That's it. That's all you do. Now it's going to go into the oven. So 350, 20 to 25 minutes.
Aren't you supposed to serve those with tea in the afternoon?
Yes. It's also one of those things, there's, it's got the flours that, the flour and things like that. But if you think about it, it really doesn't have a lot of sugar or anything in it because you've got your dates and you've got your unsweetened applesauce and all that. So it's something that you could also make up and then have it, you could have it for the teas, but you could also have it, for breakfast and add some different things to it too. So kind of a nice, little heartier, but a little bit, but is not like there's not as much fat and things like that, which is really nice. So, all right, so those are in. We'll add the actual glaze to it when we're done. So I'm going to switch to the spicy fruit nut bowl. So this fruit nut bowl, the spiciness, what it makes it, what's going to make it, if you're looking at the recipe, you've got a cup of water. So you just start with a cup of water, put it into a saucepan. Then you're going to add 3 different ingredients. 1 jalapeno. So you've cut off the ends, you've taken out the seeds, and then you're just going to put that into the water, just like that. And you're probably thinking it's going to be really hot. It's amazing. I make this for my neighbor when I do the meal prep, and this is probably the most requested recipe that I give her, and she loves it because the jalapeno adds just a different flavor to the fruit. But it's not like it's, because people are always like, oh, jalapenos, I don't like them. But it just adds just a great flavor to it. And but it doesn't make it spicy. But there's just called spicy fruit bowl. So then you got a 1/4 cup of raw cane sugar because you're going to melt that in there. So you're making like a simple syrup, but you're making it with like a jalapeno flavor. And then a little bit of lime juice. I didn't have a lime with me. So I end up just using the juice versus the lime zest also, but you can put lime zest in this. So you're going to just mix it up a little bit. Just grab a spoon to show you what it looks like. Doesn't look like much at all, just the jalapeno. But when I start actually simmering it, you're going to smell the jalapeno in the house. So if you don't like the smell of jalapenos, might want to leave it out. But you could do as, if you really wanted spicy, I would say go Serrano or something like that. But this just adds it's unbelievable what the flavor that it adds to the food. You're going to watch it. You need to watch it because the one thing you don't want to do is because of the sugar in the water, you're making a simple syrup, it will burn. So just make sure you don't walk away and leave it. Let's finish up with that. All right, so we've got that in there. So that'll be ready here in a little bit. So the waffles, since I started them, we're going to start with the waffles. So we have I have a gluten-free flour, but you could do whole wheat. So depending on how hearty you want your waffles, I just decided since I already had the gluten-free flour out for these carrot cake scones that I would just use it for this also. But I've used, I think I don't have it, but pretty much I've used either I would say gluten-free or whole wheat. Those two tend to be the two with this recipe that just turn out really well. So like I said, you were talking earlier, knock on wood, especially with, you've got a gadget that you're using, a cooking appliance, and sometimes things work, sometimes they don't. So get a cup of whole wheat flour. Then and then I put in the baking powder. So we've got the flavors. We're putting in a little bit of cinnamon. So cinnamon is a 1/4 teaspoon. And then you can add, the salt if you want, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to do the cinnamon in there. Just add that little bit of flavor with it. You could also, when you're doing a recipe like this, you could add in different types of fruit. So you could make blueberry. I've done that for Jerry and I and stuff. Lots of times where I'll make like 6 or 7 of them, and then I'll put them in the freezer, and then we can grab them out, and you can have like a waffle for dinner, which is kind of fun, or a waffle on a Saturday. But you just have to heat them up in the microwave, or you can put them on let them thaw a little bit and put them on a skillet, and then just kind of brown both sides. So it's kind of fun to have them in the freezer just to have things ready. So we got baking soda in there already. Cup of rolled oats. Don't use the quick oats. You want the rolled oats. Down.
You know what I do with my waffles? I make ice cream sandwiches with them.
Oh,
with banana.
That would be great.
Yeah, and there's a couple recipes in my new book, and then I roll the edges and like you could do them in toasted nuts or unsweetened coconut, things like that.
Yeah, I've seen people do that, like cocoa nibs, all kinds of different stuff. Oh, that sounds really good. Haven't done that before. That's Jerry's my brows just lit up like, ooh, that sounds good. So okay, so we got everything in here. So we're going to mix it together. Just grab a spoon. Just make sure all your baking powder, everything else is all mixed up. Your cinnamon. I can smell like jalapeno. I can smell the carrot cake scones. I can smell the cinnamon. It smells good in here. Okay, so then we're going to add the wet ingredients. So we've got applesauce. So you can see there's a lot of similarities. So you've got a 1/2 cup of the unsweetened applesauce. That's something I always keep on hand is unsweetened applesauce because you use it a lot in baking. So it's kind of nice to have around. So then I've got 3 tablespoons of maple syrup. You could also use a date syrup if you wanted to. So the Date Lady. I haven't ordered it yet. I need to. That's on my list. I have time off next week, so I'm going to get some stuff done that I need to get done.
And guess you're going to Rancho La Puerta.
Yes, I am. I can't wait.
You know the hammer's going, right?
Yes, I do.
Are you going to ask him lots of questions and have lots of fun?
I think so. Because I don't know him as well, believe me, as well as you do or anything like that. But just to get him to know in a different setting is going to be really fun. I've seen him in like different like summits and things like that we did here in Colorado, and just some of the kind of like the playfulness and things. So I'd like to be able to see a lot more of that, which I think would be really fun. So I have a feeling you'll bring it out in him for some reason. I've seen lots of things you've done, like, faces of them and all kinds of different stuff. So
we're going to have a grand time, I think.
It's going to be great. Looking forward to the food, looking forward to all that, different events and just you know, just the weather, and it's just so beautiful down there. So looking forward to all that. And then 1.5 cups of the unsweetened soy milk. That's what I have, but you could use hemp milk, you know, whatever you want to use. And then just give it a great mix, start mixing it. And then the recipe always just, you know, is as far as just let it sit for just a little bit. Because then everything starts kind of coming together. And then what I do is I grab the 2/3, so I got a 2/3 cup. So I'm just gonna let that sit there for just a minute. Right now it's got a, you know, it's got a good consistency. Just let it sit. So we are gonna do, just check my jalapeno, looks good. Let's get the fruit bowl made. If I use one of my other bowls.
Teaching any classes this month?
I did one last night. So that's where we're going to talk about the sweet cream, because I made that last night. So I did a sweet potato gingerbread granola, which I'll show you.
Ooh. Is that like your millet granola that you haven't made yet on the show, but that you talked about?
Kind of. It's this one's an oat based, so an oatmeal based and stuff, but it's rolled oats and stuff. But it's got all the ingredients, and it has some molasses in it. It tastes like gingerbread. So it was, the house last night smelled of gingerbread. So it was a sweet potato, the gingerbread granola, and a sweet cream. And then we also made chilaquiles. And so we made 2 like kind of breakfast power bowls. And then 2 weeks, I think 2 weeks from now and stuff, we have like dinner power bowls. Everybody was asking for power bowls, which is really pretty cool.
Are your classes in person or virtual?
They're all virtual. So they're on Zoom, and they're all through, you can see all the classes and stuff through meetup.com. So Denver Healthy Plant-Based Cooking Classes is where you can get them. And you can, you know, join Zoom, you know, we do that, and we do it for, it's an hour class, and it goes from 5:30 to 6:30 Mountain Standard Time. So depending on, you know, you're either hour earlier or 1 or 2 hours later, depending on where you're at. Okay, let's grab some fruit, and then we'll get the waffle going. Look at all this pretty fruit. We've got kiwi, we've got 2 different types of the grapes, we got strawberries, we have blueberries, we have pineapple. Like I said, #1 requested dish and stuff that my neighbor wants. And I had a class that was in person probably about, I don't know, 6 months ago, and made the carrot cake scones. And before I could even start the class, gone. It was, and I think there was maybe like a couple bites of fruit, and somebody took them home in a baggie. It's just so good. So just add your favorite fruits, whatever you decide that you want to make. We have strawberries. I'm going to pull some of the fruit back because I want to be able to use it for the waffles and show you what that looks like. It's all about presentation. Get the kiwi in there. Leave a couple slices of kiwi. Blueberries. Keep those. Very large grapes. Really large. Be careful right now too, because a lot of your grapes, they look great and stuff, but they have seeds in them. So if you have seeds and you end up getting them home, just scrape out the seeds a little bit. That adds more color. Pineapple. And green grapes. And truthfully, you would not have to put the spicy, the sauce and stuff that we're making, but it makes it so good. And what I do with my neighbor, so depending on if you're making this at home and you're thinking, that could be a lot of fruit and maybe a lot of people they won't eat it, and you want to have some to take home or that type of thing. Once you put the sauce on it, it usually lasts maybe 2 or 3 days at the most if you put it in a glass dish with a really nice lid. But if you want it to last a little bit longer, make the simple syrup, the jalapeno simple syrup, and put it on the side. And then everybody can just do a little drizzle. And so it still adds that nice flavor to it, but doesn't break down the fruit. So that's a nice way and stuff to be able to keep your fruit for a little bit longer. Trying to get all the strawberries, they're all at the bottom. Okay. So I'll just for right now, just without even doing anything, look at the color. I could just give me a fork and just sit there and eat this. This looks wonderful. But I'll put this off to the side. You could let your simple syrup like simmer, really low simmer and stuff for quite a while. So if you really want more of that jalapeno flavor, or you can just do it for a few minutes, just depending on how much of that jalapeno that you want in the simple syrup. All right. Waffle maker. I was going to show you the brand. So Presto, Flipside Belgian waffle maker. That's the one that I found that tends to work the best. And the reason why I like it, and this came on Amazon, so I think it was under $30, so not real expensive. I don't use it a lot, but I do when I'm doing like classes or decide to make a whole bunch more waffles, then I have it ready. But the cool thing about it, it flips. So you got one side, and you can flip it over to the other side. And it also has a timer on it. That's why I liked it. So, all right. Thicker now, 2/3 cup. I think I'll do it just a little bit more. Go, messy. Put your lid down. The timer's over here. So I just actually pushed it to 6. It'll just let me know here. I'll just watch it. And then when I hit 6, basically it's like, I know it's about 6 minutes, then it goes to the other side. I'll just keep this off to the side, somewhere where we're not in my way. Cook it up beautifully. I've got oatmeal everywhere. All right, so the nice cream or the sweet cream. So you call it nice cream, sweet cream, whatever. It's like, I actually, since I made this last night, didn't want to have like basically two containers of it. So the sweet cream, all you're doing is using, so you're using the silken tofu. If you've not used it before, and let me grab one for you to show you what I use. I love this one. You can buy it, next to all your tofus and all that, but you've got to keep it in the refrigerator. So the Morinu Silken, and I always just get the firm tofu, is shelf safe. So you can actually just leave it on your shelves. You can get this on Amazon, Whole Foods, Natural Grocers. I don't know about Trader Joe's if they carry it or not, but pretty much anywhere you can get it. It used to be about $1.99 a container. Now it's like $2.99. But when I see it, I'll actually do I'll buy like 8, 10 of them, and I'll just keep them in my pantry, which is really nice. So it doesn't take your refrigerator space. Very little moisture in it and things, but you can keep it for a long time. So I made it last night, and because it was on the sweet potato, it's a lot thicker than what I'm going to want to use it for the plant-based oat waffles. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add just a little bit of plant-based milk, and I'm going to whisk it in because I want it more where I can drizzle it. You can always check the waffles too, that they're cooking. So all you're doing is you're putting the silken tofu. So you're putting the box of the silken tofu, or, if you get the container, into your like blender or food processor. And then you're adding 5 dates. And then you can add and then you just add vanilla. And that's all you do for the sweet cream. And the nice thing about it is it tends to be a little bit, because your dates and stuff are going to make it just a little bit brown. But the nice thing about it is, you can put this, if you have that big fruit bowl there, you could do like a fruit platter, and you could put this in the middle. And so if you had apples and things like that, you could just dip it out. So it's a really nice, kind of like, I guess, like a dip that you want to use. But I'm just going to use it on the waffles this time. But then I also have a bunch of sweet potatoes left over too. So just add a little bit more of the soy milk.
Yeah, people on Instagram are asking, is there a way to see a recording of this recipe? Yeah, this is a YouTube show, Instagram friends. It's just we multi-stream, so you can see everything in full screen, all the recipe show notes by just hopping over to YouTube, Chef AJ.
And they're always fun to watch the second time.
You can glean new things.
You do, because every time, like anytime I watch it, I'm like, oh, I've seen that person before or something like that. You always learn something from everybody. Everybody always has another tip or trick or something like that. So I was watching your one with your sushi bowl.
If you like the sushi bowl, I got another recipe coming out next week that's even better. That's going to blow your mind.
Cool.
Oh, I'm so excited about this one. It's literally the best thing I ever ate. We shot it last night, just waiting for Charles to, do what he has to do to get it up there. I promise you, it's going to be worth every minute of your time.
Have you got anybody that figured out how to make your ginger yet?
Well, yes, Chef Julia Dunaway's coming on the show on June 21st, and she's going to teach us how to do it with date sugar. The thing is, I'm so used to ginger being white. I'm worried that it's going to turn out a funny color if she uses date sugar,
It is one of those things and stuff when you see something a different color, you're like, my taste is good, but yeah, they'll get a little bit more used to. So
I eat so little of it. I don't worry about that very small amount of sugar in it, So it's not like I'm eating the whole jar of ginger, It's a condiment.
I do it exactly. It's probably when I'm eating it, it's probably what 2 to 3 pieces, 4 pieces at the most or something. So I don't do a lot.
Like even if it was a tablespoon, and sugar's not the main ingredient. There's a brand at Whole Foods called Eden, and it's made with barley malt, but it's just an unsavory color to me. It's like this weird brownish pink, and I mean, I'm used to ginger being white.
White, or I go, when you go to certain sushi restaurants, it's pink.
Yeah, but
we've seen it pink a lot.
But then there's some kind of dye in it because ginger isn't pink. Yeah.
Yep.
Interesting.
I don't eat the pink one. I eat the white one too. We always do the white.
Yeah.
And then with lots of wasabi.
Yeah. Charles does not like wasabi.
Oh, I love wasabi. I eat probably too much wasabi. So there is.
Oh, got to tell you a funny story because my friend Tim, because we were together last year at the show. So I used to live next door to this wonderful mom and pop vegetable store called Farm Boy when I lived in Sherman Oaks. It was next to Trader Joe's. And so I love their avocado, brown rice, or even white rice, cucumber, avocado sushi. And so I one day was having a party. I said, well, can you just make me a platter? And they said, sure. So we had this as an appetizer. And you know how like they put the wasabi like in a little green ball, kind of looks like a pea, right? And Tim thought it was something else, and he put the whole thing in his mouth, and he literally just ate straight wasabi. He turned so red. It was, well, I mean, it wasn't that funny, but it was, he'll never forget that experience.
He's like, I'm going to make sure if I see something that's a green ball that I just don't pop it in my mouth. Oh my gosh.
But he didn't know the whole thing. He didn't know it was going to be spicy, and it was just watching, he literally turned red, like smoke was coming out of his ears, Oh
my goodness. That would, truthfully, I think that would hurt. That would be really, but yeah, I could see that. That would be funny.
Yep. Yeah.
Watch it a little bit. Checking my scones. Just doing a little bit of cooling. So the simple syrup looks just like that. So you can smell, just even like the 5 minutes and stuff that I was simmering it, that you can smell the jalapeno and stuff that is definitely in that simple syrup. So I'm just letting it cool a little bit. I definitely don't want to put that right onto the fruit. Okay, so we've got the waffles going.
If anybody's coming to Rancho La Puerta, Kelley is, well, she should be the main chef, but she's my sous chef for the classes. They just added a 4th class on Friday, but they loved that we did the dessert class, but people said they don't want to watch, they want to make.
Oh.
So they're going to be.
Are you going to do that? Then make the desserts, or are you going to do something?
Right. Well, no, they want to do a hands-on dessert class based on my new book. So you got to help me pick out what recipes, because, we only have 3 hours. They can't be making things that need a lot of baking time or freezing time.
Yeah, because I remember, but you made that peanut butter one, that peanut butter mousse.
Yeah, that can be made in real time. That just needs a little bit of chilling. That would be a good one for them to make. That's actually almost too easy.
That was absolutely my favorite.
We got to make the Goodman peanut chews because yeah, those are good too. Just stretching. If you know who gave me this shirt, let me know. It seems like it's a Linda Middlesworth shirt, doesn't it? There should be, you know how there should be like a thing you can write on that says, this is from this person. Remember when you were little and
Yes.
have your name either written or sewed into your clothes when you went to school, like in your jacket?
Yes. I remember that. And then it's, or even if they, because you can buy those like cloth pins so they could actually even just on the tag on the back, from such and such, that would be really nice too.
Yep.
Scones are doing well. So this one turned out a little bit smaller. So I actually added a little bit more of the ingredients and stuff to the waffle. So I've got another one going, but there's the waffle. Nice and thick. Smells wonderful.
I like Belgian better than regular because it's got those nice deep holes.
Yeah, and it's in true like Belgian waffles and stuff have, because I was watching a show about it, and it's like it's a real art, and there's certain places and stuff that just do that Belgian waffles, and it's almost like they have little pockets of crystallized sugar in it. So that's why a lot of people and stuff you'll see just eating the Belgian waffles plain. So it's definitely like a little bit different batter, but I like it. It works. Looks like I had a little bit of run over, but that's good. But this one will be a little bit bigger. Scones are going to go here. Got a mess. All right, so for the next one we're going to do, and I thought I brought it over. Oh, I just threw the dish in the thing. I'm going to make the glaze. So powdered sugar. This is going to be for the scones.
I wonder if you didn't want to use sugar, if you could somehow take like the flesh of a Japanese sweet potato or Hana yam and just kind of do something and make a drizzle.
Yes, you could. You could cook up the Hana yam. You could do, I mean, there's pretty much all those different things. Let me show you what I found the other day. You'll like this. And this is this was the baby of the bunch.
Remember when I visited you in Colorado and we couldn't find them?
Now at our Sprouts, which is kind of like a natural grocers type of thing. This is the small one that I cooked up, but the other one that I had was this long and probably that big around. And every single one of them that were there was that big, which is crazy. All the rest of them, the sweet potatoes and everything else, all little tiny things. So turned out really well. Okay. All right. So you've got the powdered sugar and then just a little bit of orange juice. So don't add a lot when you're starting to make it up, because you want to make sure and stuff that it gets creamy, but not necessarily too runny. Just do it a quick whisk. A lot of times and stuff, you will see that a lot of times and stuff, the toppings on the scones will usually be, they'll be like some type of a glaze, or they'll actually be like cream cheese. So we're not doing the cream cheese. We're just doing a simple glaze on it. That's about all I need right there. So that was probably just a drizzle of orange juice. There we go. All mixed up. That's ready. We'll just keep that off to the side. We have the sweet cream, which we're going to use for the waffles. Flip it over. Pull this one off to the side. I'm going to get my little bit bigger one. So what we're going to do, when the waffle comes out, we're going to cut the waffle up into the triangles. So that's going to be 4 parts and stuff. We're going to layer the waffle down the plate, and you could do this if you have a larger plate, you could do multiple waffles. And then we're going to have little dollops of the sweet cream around it. And then we're going to add all the fruit and stuff that I was holding back. We're going to add the fruit to it, and then a couple little edible flowers because it's Mother's Day. It's got to have where it's pretty.
Absolutely.
All right. So when you're done with the jalapeno, you could either take this and roast it up. You could put it in a, your air fryer, whatever you want to do, and then just, keep it off to the side, or just put it in your oven and then use it for other things, which it's got a little bit of sweetness to it, but still they still bake up really well or roast up really well. I'll just put that off to the side. No waste. Because I think didn't you interview the lady and stuff for this, what was it, the Scrappy Cookbook?
Yeah, Carly Budrug got her book.
Yeah, so like it talks about no waste.
Right. Wonderful book. I think it's been at least 2 weeks on the New York Times best-selling list, and really a great way to use things. I wonder what she would do with this pepper.
You could bake, you could do, like I said, roast it up, put it in nachos. You could actually slice it up, and you could put, what is it? The ingredient I was going to think, because the restaurant, the sushi restaurant that we go to they took jalapenos, and what else did they, I'm trying to think what else they did. They did jalapenos and I think like serrano, and then add just a couple other things to it. And then they put, I want to say uzu, but it's not uzu. What is it? It's a Japanese, no, I don't know if I have any. It's not rice vinegar either. And there was a sauce and stuff that you put on it, and then you just keep it, you just basically keep adding. I'll have to look at it, and I'll have to make it one of these times and stuff. But you just keep adding it to the, like when you get more jalapenos, just keep adding more jalapenos, and it just gets this wonderful sauce. And then then when you're ready and stuff, you can just start adding it to like any type of thing that you want to eat. And it's just a really nice jalapeno type of a dressing. Making sure it's coming out.
Yeah, how do you know exactly when to lift it up?
I have the little timer here on the side, and so flip it around. There's a little timer here. It doesn't beep, but it actually, when I set it for the 6 minutes, then I can watch it as it's counting down. And then when I see that when it gets to like the 3 minutes, I'm flipping it, and then that way, both sides get cooked. And I don't know if it really works or not, but both sides turned out really well. And if you do have any type of moisture or a little bit of the waffle mix in there, it cooks both sides. And then when it hits to where it says 0, then that's when I start kind of like messing with it a little bit. Because if you let it set too long, of course, what's going to happen. It's going to burn. So don't want to do that. And then when you've got it like this, you just kind of just lift it just a little bit. And then if if it starts getting to like here, it's ready to go. And then you can just pop it open. And you just grab a little fork in there, just kind of pop up the sides. If you had all that spray oil on it and all those things that we all used to do and that we all grew up with, then it pops out really quickly. But all it takes is just a little bit of a fork. Don't need all that oil at all. Okay. Unplug. This thing gets really hot. Much better waffle. See how thick that is?
Yeah, that's like almost like a deep dish pizza.
And you could do that, you could, because it's really not that sweet of a waffle, so you could actually make it that way. I've seen, all kinds of things that they're doing with waffles now. Let's do the pretty one there. A little bit of an edge. Make that one better. Grab my fruit. Scones should be ready here in just about a minute. Fruit's really coming in nicely this year. It's really, love it. Okay, so we've got your sweet cream.
Where'd you go? Where'd
Is
she?
Bailey with you?
I can't find her ever. I mean, I assume she's here.
I've got microgreens. You could do microgreens, you could do flowers, you could do all kinds of different things, but it's just all about making it pretty.
You know what's great when you freeze the waffles, you can just like you can always microwave them, but you can just kind of crisp them up in the air fryer afterwards.
Mm-hmm. Have you done corn in the cob yet in your air fryer?
Yeah, it's fantastic and it's quick.
Yes, love it.
It's also quick in the Instant Pot. I don't know how people live without these machines anymore.
We use, because we just made, what did we make? Beans the other day, and really, really good. I mean, the best, it's always the best pinto beans and everything else that you ever eat. So it's delicious. Green, got to add all the colors. It's one of my favorite things to do is when you have, I did this for the granddaughter, which is hard to say, but a granddaughter. But what I did is I made, I love doing that when you do the tables. I don't know if you've ever done this, Chef AJ, but you do a great big huge table and you do all these. So she was having a kid party. And so she does. So I did all these, like I had a black wrapping paper that was over it on a black tablecloth. And then I wrote things on it and so you had like pretzels, and then I made all kinds of homemade dips. So it was all, she didn't know it and stuff, but it was all plant-based. And then we had fruit bowls and we had all kinds of things, but the whole entire, like a six set table and stuff was just covered with all kinds of snacks and grazing items and carrots and jars and all kinds of different things. It is so fun to do something. That's one of my favorite things to do. Put things together and have it where it's pretty.
I know, pretty food is the best.
Blueberries. But yeah, the food, all the desserts and stuff you made at Rancho, and even just the regular meals. So not even just that, but everything that we did was beautiful. I remember they brought in, because of their garden, they had that, their own gardens and stuff out there. And they brought in all kinds of things like fresh flowers and all that we added to it. Oh my gosh, it was just so pretty. Best looking food ever. All right, and then a little bit of microgreens, just a little bit. These microgreens are kale mix, and they've got a little bit of purple to them. Because what does Dr. McDougall always say?
He says
your greens. He says lots of things, but
wait, McDougall doesn't say eat your greens.
Doesn't?
No, he doesn't think you even need to eat vegetables. He says eat your starch.
Oh, somebody does. Who says eat your greens?
Probably Dr. Esselstyn or Dr. Furman.
Maybe, yeah. Is it Esselstyn? Maybe.
I would think so. He tells his patients to eat them like 6 times a day.
And a little bit of color. Okay, so I'll get the scones out. There is your Mother's Day, or you know what? If you're not celebrating Mother's Day and it's for you, this is your waffle plate. Look at all that fresh fruit and everything. You could always drizzle it with maple syrup if you wanted to, but you don't have to. But isn't that pretty?
It's beautiful. You know what I like on waffles is I have a vanilla caramel date sauce. That's what I use in a little squeeze bottle.
Vanilla caramel date. Where did you get that from?
It's just in my book. It's just three
Oh,
recipes.
well, okay. I'm gonna have to go get it then.
You better. No, just kidding. Everyone better if they want me to be a New York Times bestseller. I don't have that.
Well, I've already ordered it because I right when you first did your send it out and stuff, I ordered it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Of course, I always do that.
A lot of people are saying it looks beautiful. Yeah.
Thank you.
Dixie says, Dr. Goldhammer told me to eat more greens and beans and eat most of the rice and tortillas to rich.
Well, there we go. So Goldhammer, we'll use Goldhammer then. Eat your greens. So getting very close. It's actually good. But I'm going to pull it off. So there's the scones just coming out of the oven.
That reminds me of this thing I see at Trader Joe's around the holidays. Is it called panettone or something?
Yeah, there is some of that. I've actually seen where they've taken that. It's always like, on the Food Network things, but I've seen where they've taken that and they cut it up and then they actually make French toast out of the panettone bread. And supposedly it's really popular. Never tried it. I'm just going to drizzle. And I'll just taste it really quick so that way I can tell you. Like I said, very, very light jalapeno, but you could, make it as much as you want. But just the flavor of the jalapeno into the simple syrup and a little bit of the lime and stuff just brings out the freshness of your fruit. So just really, really good. Just going to add a little bit. That, I guarantee you, even my neighbor and stuff actually I don't even remember what event it was. It was something, a birthday or something, had me make a bowl like this of it for her family. And truthfully, didn't last. There was nothing left. A bunch of kids, everything. They ate it all. There's the fruit bowl. Doesn't really need any decorations. It's beautiful as it is. Those two things, beautiful together. All right, let's do this. I have my knife, grab it again. I'm too good about cleaning up. You will probably have to cut it and give it just a nice little slice again, because a lot of times and stuff, it will kind of cook back together. And you can smell like the orange in this.
Delicious.
Then I've got not a white plate. Let's do an orange plate for this one. Let's do half and half so I don't drop it. So
now,
here.
Would you eat a scone hot or would you let it cool first?
I like them warm. That's my preference, but a lot of people and stuff just eat them at room temperature. Most of the places when you go to like a pastry shop or something like that, you're always going to have them at room temperature. But there, before I put it on the plate, that's the inside. And like I said, you can make blueberry, you could make apple, what all the flavors that you're looking to make, all like peach. That would be a great one and stuff, especially since like Palisade peaches will be coming out here pretty soon and all that. Blueberries.
That could be like a 4th of July, red, white, and blueberry scone.
Exactly. And then just going to put this down to the edge. And done. All right, so we've got the nice cream. I'm just making sure I've got everything. That is your carrot cake scones. So carrot cake scones, and we made all this in right about an hour.
Wow, it looks so rustic, and I love that look.
Yeah, spicy fruit bowl, and then you've got your waffles and stuff that are all made up really pretty with a nice cream or a fruit cream, sweet cream. But yeah, that's everything ready to go. This, I think, is absolutely beautiful.
And all is absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
You are something, Kelley.
Thank you. I love to make this stuff.
Yeah, Shirley says, beautiful presentation as always.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
You
I
need
try
to.
to. That's one of the things that I really like to do is to look at things and then figure out like what you can do just to add that little bit of extra. And I would say I don't always do this between like Jerry and I at home. It's, if we've got something, it may come out in just a plate or a bowl and stuff. But when you get to go somewhere or do a class, this is the fun thing. This is the stuff that I'd love to do. Make it pretty.
You need to submit yourself as a chef for Rancho.
I would like to. We can talk about that next time.
Okay. Well, if you guys want to go to Rancho with me and Kelley and Dr. Ellen Goldhammer, last time we checked, there were 2 spots left.
Yay.
Yeah, because he sent it out to his list as well. So thank
Oh,
you so
wonderful.
much, Kelley.
Thank you.
It was beautiful. And thanks all of you for watching another episode of Chef AJ Live. Please come back a bit earlier tomorrow at 8:30 a.m. Pacific time for Moving Medicine Forward, where you can ask questions to Dr. Michael Clapper and Dr. Zach Burns. Take care, everyone, and happy